Okay, this is a little video to show my my fishing lure because a lot of people have asked about what it is, and mainly for Kai. So and all you guys, whatever you do, don't show Uncle Sonny this video. But just kidding. All right, so this is basically it. This is the mirror lure. It's called the Little John. It's a dart type of lure. It's just basically a round, just a lure with a round tail there. Which, of course, you can get larger jig heads and use the lure just as it is, which is great too. You can cast it really far. Use like a big 1/8 ounce or something like that. Jig head, the saltwater jig heads. But what I use, and I came up with this system basically for economic reasons, but it turned out to be really efficient. But here's the it's like an 1/8 ounce freshwater jig head, with a really small gap. I don't have a saltwater jig head, so I can't show you the comparison, but the saltwater jig head is about that wide, and then the freshwater is about the, freshwater is there. Saltwater gap is about that big. So what I ended up doing is altering these basically to get the most out of them. So they come about, I think, like 10 or so to a pack, but if you do it my way, you get about 40 lures to a pack, and it's cheaper. But it actually is more efficient. So basically what I do is I'm going to cut the lure in half, and then I'm going to cut each half in half. So I'm going to quarter it, basically. And scissors are the best way to do this, not trying it with a knife, because you want to try to do as straight of a line as you can. So this is going to be hard with the video camera, but I'll try to show you. So basically you start at the head, if you can see there. I'm just gonna and you cut as cleanly as you can. You'll get the hang of it. Best to do like the first pass without stopping. One of the things is if you stop, you introduce like a little ripple in the lure, which is, again, not a big deal. The fish don't care. But basically you make, I don't know if you can see that, but I'm trying to slice this as cleanly in a straight line as I can down there you go. So there's half. So now I've got half a lure. There's that little ripple that I was talking about, but again, that's not a big deal. The main thing that you're trying to accomplish is you're trying to keep the head even. Sorry, my fingernails are dirty. I got mechanics hands. Working in my car again. All right, so I'm going to do the next quarter, or the next cut in half. So I start, and when you start, try to start as evenly in the middle of the semicircle, like so, as thick as you can make this as thick as you can make this, the head of it, because that's where the hook and of the jig head is going to go into. So you need a little bit of meat up there. The tail is not that big of a deal. You can have it kind of thin or not, but so basically slice that in half. Okay, so that's it. So basically what I've done is I made a miniature version of the same lure. Basically that's it. Get out of there. So there's the regular size lure, and there is that's the half. There's one of the quarter ones. So basically just made a smaller version of it. Again, I wish I had a saltwater jig head to show you the size comparison, but it's much smaller. And this is a really light lure, so I use 10-pound braid, 20-pound leader on a really light pole. But one of the main things that I love about this lure, if I can show you, is that there's the action of the Little John as it is. And then this one is even more so. I mean, it's like way floppier. So when it's in the water, it's moving. So, and I think that's part of its attraction there. So threading it on the jig head, just thread it on the jig head like you would any normal rubber lure. Just start in there. This is why, again, it's important to keep some meat up at the top. So I'll just thread it through there. Because you need a little bit of meat for that barb that's on most jig heads, small jig heads. You push it in there so it'll grip. And that's basically it. That's the jig head. It's basically a miniature version of the bigger lure. But for each lure, you get 4 pieces. And then the smaller jig heads are way cheaper than the saltwater jig heads too. You get like a pack of 10 for the price of that you'd get 3 saltwater lures. So I originally came up with this lure to stretch my dollar, but it ended up being so good. This little guy will, you basically just bounce it up. You cast it out, let it sink, let it bounce, drop it, let it basically bounce it along the bottom there. And it's been infallible for me as far as if there's a fish in the area, it doesn't matter what it is, trout, snook, jacks, ladyfish, anything. Caught a bunch of redfish on it. If you think there's redfish in the area, you just move it slower. With snook, it's more of the drift is important. And then with trout, you put some speed on it. And trout and mackerel seem to go for it too, with some speed. So that's my lure. Rear lure, Little Johns. I said the root beer. Root beer, my favorite. This is my favorite color combination. The red head with those red heads are getting harder and harder to find though. But I've used different colors. Used white head, chartreuse, whatever. Play around with it. Good luck, and that's basically it. You just need a pair of scissors and a steady hand. All right. Hope to catch up with you guys soon and catch some fish. Take it easy.